Hey guys, it's Megan here, the faithful fibromyalgia warrior. I hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Monday. I'm having a great day so far. Just kind of a quick catch up, kind of a short topic. I know I talked about the importance of eating animal sources of fat and protein and how that heals us, it helps us, it's not what made us fat, and that's true, and I stand by that. And there are many, many others out there who will confirm that as well. Just pointing out the importance of getting enough dietary fat in our systems, particularly as a female, and especially someone who, let's say we're in our 50s, we're heading into that sort of menopause, postmenopausal phase of life. Getting enough dietary fat is exceptionally important. Okay, speaking from that position as a female. Getting enough dietary fat is important for everybody. These excellent saturated, particular, most of which are animal sources of fat, majority of which are saturated, which are really good for us. There are a few exceptions, oily fish being one that contains unsaturated fat, but animal sources of fat and protein are critical, as I talked about in my previous video. And this morning, I just want to continue to share why it's so important. So I hope there you go, Black Sabbath, one of the classic metal bands from the UK, wearing it proudly today. Gotta give a shout out to those guys. So, sorry, side topic. Why is it so important? For me, especially coming out of a long history of binging and restricting, and that cycle that goes with bulimia, or honestly with most any eating disorder, we starve our body of the fat it needs. Okay, and that's of course never good. And I didn't realize, I understood the role fat plays with keeping our hormones healthy, with our metabolism and digestion. In fact, when I don't eat enough fat with my protein, I find that it takes a lot longer for me to digest things, and that it's a lot more difficult to quickly get through that stuff. So when I'm getting enough dietary fat, I don't find that I'm bloated. I don't find I have constipation, which is a great relief for somebody who has had IBS for a long time. I would caution, if you eat too much of it too quickly and you don't give yourself enough time to adjust to the fat increase, you are going to have the opposite effect. So if you've always struggled with diarrhea and you suddenly eat far too much dietary fat, it is going to affect you all at once. And that obviously is not good. So you want to build up to it slowly. And that's why I always talk about the importance of getting your protein with the fat it comes with naturally. So fattier cuts of beef, fattier steaks like ribeyes, if you can afford it. Regular ground beef, which is typically 20 to 25% fat. Start with that. Give your digestive system time to adapt and get used to it. And you will have moments where perhaps you are feeling more constipated and bloated as your body learns to adjust and adapt to the fat that, quite frankly, if you're like I was, you have deprived it of for a long time. Your body's going to need time to adapt. But our bodies are adaptive. And hopefully it won't take that long. For some people, it may take a few days. For some people, it may take a few weeks, possibly a few months. But you will start to feel better as your body gets used to it. And why is this so important? Well, fat helps feed our hormones. Like, for example, our thyroid, which then also controls other hormones that tell us, for example, things like ghrelin when we're hungry, leptin that signals when we're full. So we learn how to eat and stop eating depending on what our body requires. We learn to be filled and satiated or satisfied with less food volume if it's fattier, because fat is more satisfying. So, eat those chicken wings if you like them, because they have more fat on them. They're darker meat. Same with drumsticks. Chicken breasts are tasty, but very, very lean. And so you will probably have to add a lot of butter, which is what I do. Okay. Feel free, if you're like me and you enjoy eating a bit of cold, like chilled butter, do that. I know for a lot of people that's like, ooh, gross. No, thank you. But honestly, as I got used to enjoying good saturated fats in my diet, I've always loved the taste of real butter. And so once I allowed myself to nibble on just a little, I realized how much I enjoy it. Now, does that mean you need to eat a whole block of butter in a day? No, you don't. Okay. And again, there are people who have actual milk and dairy milk allergies to the proteins, and you will not be able to eat butter in the first place. So you'll have to stick to things like beef tallow, which is what you get when you're cooking up beef. You know, that grease that gets left in the pan, that's beef tallow. Chill it. Lots of people eat that. People do okay. Some people do well with bacon grease. Excellent sources of fat from an animal. You know, enjoy it. Start with small amounts until your body gets used to it, or you will have you will, instead of having constipation, you will be suffering with diarrhea. Okay. If you're feeling nauseous, then you're probably having too much of it too quickly. So you kind of roll it back a bit. It's everyone's a little different, so there's a little bit of trial and error. The reason I share that is because for me, one of the things I'll do to determine if I'm actually truly hungry, or if I'm just a little bit peckish, or maybe I'm just kind of bored or whatever, is if I'm not really sure if I'm hungry, one of the first things I think to myself is, do I want to make the effort of putting eggs and beef or something in the frying pan waiting for it to cook? And if that is appealing to me, and that is definitely what I desire to do, that's a sign to me that, okay, I'm probably hungry. But if I can't be bothered to make the effort to cook something that's maybe only going to take between 5 and 10 minutes, probably not hungry. Could just be thirsty. I'll have some water. The other thing I'll do is I'll cut off a little piece of butter and nibble on it. And then just wait. Why? Because the fat is satiating, right? If I can eat a little bit of butter and then feel like, you know what, actually I could go a couple more hours and not eat anything, I'm not super hungry. I might be slightly peckish. And again, fat has almost no effect on our blood glucose levels. You'd probably have to eat a massive, significant amount of it, several blocks of it, for that to have even remotely the faintest effect on our blood glucose levels. So something that I remember being suggested, and I think it was something that Dr. Berry said, and as well something that Bella from Steak and Butter Gal has said, is have a little bit of butter. It is not going to affect your blood glucose levels in any meaningful way. Therefore, your insulin levels are not going to suddenly spike. It could take the edge off of what you think you're feeling, which is maybe you're hungry, maybe you're not really, maybe you're just a little bit peckish, and then try to push it. And I find that helps because fat is such a satisfying thing to have. Now, for me personally, I enjoy bacon grease. However, I don't do well with bacon, generally speaking. It's a cured product, and I have a histamine response. So unfortunately, when I make bacon for my husband, I have to clean out the frying pan. I can't just go back and save the bacon grease for later because of my histamine response to it. And I quite enjoy, obviously, I love the beef tallow. I've been known to, once I've, say, cooked my ground beef in the pan, I will pour out, oh, that's the other thing too, by the way, when you're cooking and you have that grease or that fat, that clear fat that forms as you're cooking meats, don't get rid of it. You can put it aside and save it to cook with later, or you can put it onto the meal that you've just made, but don't get rid of it. That's really good. Okay. And I love when there's a bit of beef tallow left in the pan from cooking up ground beef. And I always sort of add it into the beef when it's ready. I kind of have it all together. I don't get rid of it. But sometimes what I like to do is I will keep some of that grease on the pan. So I'm seasoning my frying pan with either butter or beef tallow. My one warning I would give to you guys, if you're just really getting started and you're trying to do maybe not necessarily super high fat carnivore, but higher fat carnivore. Okay. First of all, don't trim the fat off your meats. Cook it up, eat it together. Okay. Because it's all part of helping heal your body, your hormones, and everything else. What I would say to you is, in the beginning, I highly suggest you don't have the beef tallow or the melted butter hot off the pan, because as a liquid, it'll go through your system much faster, and there is a higher chance that you may have diarrhea as a result. However, feel free to let your pan cool off, let that come back to like a sort of a semi-solid. You can, I don't know, scrape it off, add it on top of some eggs later, put it on top of something else. If you have, I know something Kelly Hogan said she would do is when she would get her burger patty, she would put some butter on the top. As far as I'm aware, she also takes sometimes beef tallow and kind of spreads it on the top like a sauce. You can do that too. I know if you're new to this, it sounds super weird, but honestly, it works, and it will keep you feeling full and satisfied and nourished for so much longer. Just give yourself a little time to get used to the increased fat. We are in a world that is all about having everything low fat, and yet in spite of eating low fat or fat-free foods, obesity globally is at a highest probably level ever. So clearly this whole low fat, no fat approach is not working, because people are following that advice and yet they're still becoming fat. They're becoming obese. They're developing cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes and some cancer. So clearly that's not working, but definitely give your bodies time to adjust to the fat increase. I would say though, once you taste that delicious butter or that beef tallow, whether you have it like hot off the pan and you pour it over top, if you've developed the ability to handle that now, or you let it get cold and you scoop it up like a topping on a burger patty, I don't know, or if you can handle bacon grease, or you do okay with those types of things, you will love the taste. Honestly, it's so amazing. Tastes so good. But yeah, enjoy it. Feel free to add it on top of. So why do I say this? So if you like your chicken breasts and you like your leaner steaks, I say this because you probably still want to add some fat. That could be tallow, that could be bacon grease, that could be some butter, and which is great because it will help keep you feeling full. So you don't need to eat as much. You feel fuller, you're nourished, you get what you need. But your body needs time to adjust, but it tastes so amazing. You're going to want to just eat it all at once. If you're not used to it, you could be spending more time than you anticipated in the bathroom. Just a heads up. Okay. But we do need healthy sources of animal fats, along with the protein that was, coming from them to begin with. You know what? Like, my skin is completely cleared. My rosacea is 100% gone. My eyebrows are filled out. I'm no longer have hypothyroidism. My hair is long and healthy. This is my natural color. I was fully gray 5-6 years ago. This is all my color. Like, that's how amazing carnivore is. I know it's a superficial thing, but it's such a great thing that has been so completely reversed. It's mind-blowing. Anyways, guys, I hope this is helpful. Please hear me say this, though. I'm not saying go out and eat like a whole block of butter. I'm not saying suddenly start eating, go out and, I know in the States you can buy beef tallow, like just as tallow. That kind of thing doesn't exist here in the UK. I don't even think it does in Canada. And that's great. And if you enjoy it and you like a little tiny little, I know there are people who will buy the tallow, put it in little like ice cube trays or freezer packs and freeze it. And it's almost like eating, it's like a carnivore response to frozen fruit or even frozen yogurt or ice cream, only way, way better, obviously. If you can't get access to that easily, and you probably can't if you're here in the UK, there's other things you can do. I'm not saying go out and buy bags of frozen beef tallow, okay, to start with. I'm saying allow yourself the chance to enjoy fattier beef, whether it's ribeye, whether it's a New York strip loin, whether it's regular ground beef, or what would be marked here in the UK as 20% and above, whether it's ground lamb mince or ground lamb, that's going to be a little bit fattier as well. Enjoy the meats with the fat. Cook with butter, okay? Cook with butter. Definitely, if you are going to start by trying bacon, great. Save the bacon grease, okay? When you cook up the bacon, pour it in a glass jar, save it. You can use it for cooking stuff again later. You can season your pan with some butter, some tallow, some bacon grease, which is what I like to do. Well, not the bacon grease so much because of my histamine response. Season your pan, meaning you might wipe it off with a paper towel. You don't have to wash it every time. Leave those good fats on your pan, okay? Use your bacon grease to then cook your eggs or your burger meat or whatever it is you're putting in your skillet or frying pan. And just adding a little bit more fat as you go is going to start to help. And it will help you get used to, digesting animal proteins as well. So that's kind of my little tip for the day. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you guys find it useful. And thank you so much for all your support, your encouragement, your kind words. Don't forget, I'm going to be putting together a page on my website, sort of citing my favorite meals and or recipes. And I would love to hear from you guys what some of yours might be. So let me know what your favorite carnivore recipes are. And those will be going onto the website. I'm going to be looking to do that this summer. So please share with me if you want to. Let me know what things you like to eat, what you enjoy the best, what works for you, what your favorite go-tos are, and I'll make sure to include those for anybody, but of course also for the people that I'm working with one-to-one. So thank you for all your support, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.